Good afternoon, Facebook. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Here on the Cano podcast, we're talking about real estate agents and the battle. Are they essential or non-essential? Whether your opinion of them is essential or non-essential, well, the government has come in to help us out and kind of explain that. So we've been having a lot of fun in regards to businesses that are currently labeled as essential in San Antonio. There's a lot of differences in regards to people's opinions on whether or not your business is essential, but we all understand that real estate agents play such a crucial part in our economy. And, there was a little bit of concern, a little bit of scare there as we started to believe that they were going to be shut down for a second and not be able to be as effective. So with us today, we have, in my opinion, one of the strongest advocates to keeping San Antonio up to speed on what SABOR and the government is saying, Mr. Jack Hawthorne. Jack, thanks for being with us today, sir.
Hey there, guys. How you doing?
I'm hoping everybody's doing, and that's a good question. How are you doing? I mean, we answer that differently now. How are you doing, Jack?
Doing very, very well. Doing very, very well. Very busy.
Yeah. Do you prefer, like, is this comfortable for you? Like, have you ever, like, in your life been so stuck at home or?
I hate working from home.
Yeah.
A lot.
Okay.
So it's really funny. One of the things that people didn't know about the office in general is we've been cloud-based for almost a decade.
Oh, wow.
We just really like having an office.
Yeah.
And so it took us a whole, I think, 4 hours to shift from being completely physical to completely digital.
Sure.
And so it's not really that big. We have almost 40 people on staff working from home. I like being able to hang out with my family, which is fantastic. I got a 6-month-old and a 3.5-year-old. But I very much prefer going to the office, seeing people. This is very different. I'm waiting for it to be done.
I hear you. So Keller Williams Heritage, you guys do DISC assessments on real estate agents, or do you guys care about what people's personalities are like?
So I care in the sense that it helps me consult.
Okay.
I don't care in the sense of hiring.
Okay.
But everyone has different strengths, and so we do DISC assessments. We do something called a KPA, which is similar.
Okay.
And that allows us to say, look, everyone is a different, unique person.
Yeah.
So everyone's going to approach things differently.
So then you probably understand, in looking at a lot of the results, that real estate agents probably have a tendency to be a little more extroverted. So you're responsible for maintaining emotions from people that want to go outside and play so bad. And you're like, look, mija, just stay inside. It's going to rain.
Right.
That sounds fun.
That sounds right. That's why, so we're community-based, and not everybody is, but we are very, very community-based in what we do. If you've heard anything about KW, you've always heard about KW culture.
Yeah.
And one of those is fellowship, working together. We thrive off of each other's energy. We're not good playing alone. Yeah. And so that's why we were talking a little bit earlier, we were getting rolling. I'm on Zoom almost 10 hours a day, interacting with almost 300 unique people a day. I know that Steve is on Zoom several times a day, Lisa, Craig, like we're all out there facilitating conversation.
And for perspective, before COVID-19, how often would you hop on Zoom and have these types of conversations?
Once a week, maybe?
Once a week. It took 10 hours a day, just like that.
Just overnight, essentially.
Okay, that's awesome. How much infrastructure went into this? So, news starts coming out. You guys start preparing for, what the inevitable is showing us, a work from home or stay at home type policy. And you guys are just like, hey, we're going to get on Zoom and just create these platforms. Or did y'all have this kind of stuff already in place and ready to go?
We had everything in place, which is nice. So we operate through Slack for internal communication. We run through Zoho internally to make sure we keep track of everything. And then Zoom, it's a great product. It's intuitive. So we just clicked on a few more accounts and was ready to go. Yeah. But the infrastructure it's robust, but it's not new.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, it's crazy to think. And first off, kudos to you guys and the way you run your camp there at KW Heritage is very impressive. Tremendous amount of real estate agents, a tremendous amount of respect for the leadership there. We were just at the Whitty Museum doing an award banquet with hundreds of your employees to now 10 hours a day on Zoom, man. Like, it's crazy how fast things happen.
It does happen quickly. The nice thing is we started following, kind of realized something was happening, becoming. So toward the beginning of February, we started planning to probably go virtual.
Yeah.
And whenever the day came, we made sure that we were putting everything in place as best we could. And then we just flipped the switch.
That's good. Well, man, if you wouldn't mind, just give us a quick update, Jack, for those real estate agents and industry professionals who are, misunderstanding what, they're reading on the news. What do you got for our real estate agents in regards to what they can and can't do right now?
Absolutely. And first and foremost, if you're confused, it's not your fault. I do want to throw that out there. I'm a big advocate of giving a tremendous amount of grace to the city and the Board of Realtors. The crisis is hard. And I think they're doing the best they can. There's a lot of moving parts, and you ask 10 people a question, you're probably going to get 10 answers unless they've scripted out the party line response. So right now, the status is we are considered essential by the city. San Antonio Board of Realtors supports that. And the only reason we really had a hiccup was if you guys watched the press release, the Q&A with the city attorneys the other night, the city attorney said, hey, realtors need to get out there, sell real estate, keep the economy going. Obviously, they're essential. But then the city of San Antonio's person managing the chat threw a little comment down there that said, well, hey, actually, they can finish out transactions, but they're not allowed to go show homes. And the city of San Antonio came out. We sent in a bunch of requests working with the mayor's office, and huge kudos again to Board of Realtors really hammering them to get answers. And the city came out and said, okay, guys, you're going to be considered essential for all purposes. All of your subsidiary services are going to be considered essential. So inspection, appraisal, in my opinion, photography, even though it's not explicitly listed, all those things that are necessary to move real estate forward will all be considered essential.
Nice. So I'd seen that just following you on social and kind of listening what other people were saying. It was a bunch of mixed messages out there for sure. And so is SABOR kind of the say-all? Is that where a lot of real estate agents should be staying current with information?
So, yeah, I rely on San Antonio Board of Realtors to give great information. The reason there was a conflict is when watching the city, and SABOR agrees with this completely, the city trumps SABOR. So if San Antonio Board of Realtors says you can go show and the city says you can't show, we have to follow the city because one of them is going to give you a ticket, one of them isn't. Yeah. Instead, what had happened is San Antonio Board of Realtors sent out information that was correct for about 10 minutes. Wow. And then the city did that weird backtrack, and then they reversed again. And so now we're set to be essential. So, yeah, there's a lot of mixed information because one of the other ones that people are seeing now is TAR, Texas Association of Realtors, actually put out a list of every place where realtors are considered essential or not essential. Well, that had San Antonio as not essential. The reason for that is because almost every city in Texas that I'm aware of, or at least that I've come across, use the same template to say, this is how we're deeming essential or non-essential services. Well, everyone else said, if it's essential, we're going to specifically say realtors are essential. In San Antonio, they didn't say that, and then later came out and said, well, actually, they are essential. Wow. So TAR, looking at the face of those documents, they assumed we weren't essential, and to my understanding now, they're going in and amending.
So I'm seeing now there's a lot of excitement and a lot of people are like, man, this is a huge win, but it's still under the influence of practicing social distancing. Real estate agents, and just as a community, we still have a long way to go on this thing. So what's the message? Like, what are you guys saying to real estate agents that although we're considered essential, here are some of the best practices in regards to maybe showings or open houses and things like that?
Absolutely. So if you're going to do an open house, make it a virtual open house. Market it a few days before. Go in on Facebook, do a live walkthrough, answer questions. I do not recommend open houses at all.
Okay.
If you're going to do a listing appointment right now, I recommend you do it virtually. So Zoom, FaceTime, get them your information or your listing presentation in advance to go over with them. I'm a huge believer in social distancing. Just because we can show houses doesn't mean the whole point of why all this is happening went away.
Right.
And so, the way that I'm really working with realtors in general and the people that I consult with is most realtors are on a roller coaster throughout the year. Yeah. And while that's a choice, whether we like it or not, it is something you can get off of. But most people are factually on a roller coaster. Well, there is usually about 6 months you're lead generating and 6 months you're selling real estate. And it's not 6 months and 6 months. It's maybe a month.
Right.
We're off for 2 weeks. And off is relative. Off just means you can't go you can't go show people. Now off just means, hey, don't shake their hand, don't give them a hug. Let's just practice social distancing, work from home if at all possible. But if people choose to take this time to really pour into their business, love on their people, make sure they're updating everyone on what's going on, and they decide to be that rock in the middle of the hurricane for their clients to give good information, then I truly do believe we will largely avoid a recession because we're actually poised for a boom. The nice thing about that is showings are down almost 35%, but the market is actually still ticking along. What it's done is it's gotten rid of a lot of the tire kickers, but the people that need to buy and sell houses are still buying and selling houses. Every lender that I'm talking to right now is saying list houses. You are still at an unprecedented rate for interest rates. Get out there. People still want to buy. And I truly do believe that if realtors will drive this, we will largely avoid a major recession in San Antonio.
I couldn't agree more. I am so happy that you're saying this. We were talking about this yesterday, whenever we were live on our podcast. And, looking at it right now, I got veterans that are calling in and they're needing some relief. And it's people that are taking cash out of their home to be able to provide over the next 2 to 3 months. We don't believe that this is the last time. And I hate saying this, but I don't think this is the last time the world will see an epidemic like this. But I think we can learn from this. And people who have that equity right now, because 4 or 5 years ago they purchased a home, are able to take cash out, do HELOCs, be able to be out of work for a few months, versus those that don't have that. So it sounds a little insensitive, and of course, our industry at times will take something pure and ruin it through marketing, but it's a true statement. Our homeowners are not as panicky as our renters are right now, those that have some equity in their home. Right.
I agree. You're in a much better position if you're a homeowner right now.
Absolutely.
I truly don't believe this is the last time we'll deal with something like this. I don't even think this is the last time we're going to deal with COVID-19. Everyone is saying, anyone that's people that I rely on. So obviously I'm not a doctor. Don't pretend to be a doctor. Don't play one on TV. I do real estate pretty well, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And so we'll probably have a bit of a lag in the summer, but there's no reason to expect it won't come back in the winter.
Yeah.
And so if we can continue to, hashtag flatten the curve, but just avoid that spike, keep our infrastructure in place. I was one of the few in the crowd that was very unpopular for saying we should cancel Fiesta.
Oh, yeah.
Because I would much rather take the economic hit of canceling Fiesta than the economic hit of a couple thousand deaths.
Sure.
And so if we have the ability to continue to work together on this and practice social distancing, work from home if at all possible, I really do think that we'll get back and swing at things much, much faster.
Amen. I was also frowned upon for saying we should cancel St. Patrick's Day. So I think next time, Jack, let's flip it. I'll say cancel Fiesta. You say cancel St. Patrick's Day. That way maybe there'll be a little less heat,
No, I think that's good. We don't want to double up.
Absolutely. You got any final words, Jack, for our real estate friends that are tuned in right now? A word of encouragement, maybe?
I do. Yeah. So I often get accused of making real estate as boring as humanly possible, which I completely understand. But what I want to relay to everybody, whether you work with me or not, is consistency right now will outweigh any amount of talent you may have. You have the ability to pour into your business, and whatever seeds you're planting during this weird time, you will reap 4, 5, 6 times the benefits you normally would, because so many people are backing out. The absolute best time to expand your business and take territory is during a contraction market. So do not lay off. If you treat it like a snow day, you will probably be out of business in 6 months. You need to lean in.
Wow. Thank you, Jack, for your encouragement. Thank you for your words of wisdom. We are going to tag Jack already. I think he's tagged in this video. So if you have questions, what are you recommending? People just direct message you on social, or?
Messenger's the best. As you may have noticed, I'm at this point living on Facebook. That's just a weird reality. It's exactly what I thought would happen when I went to law school. I'd be on Facebook all.
Right on,
Jack. Hit me up in Messenger. I'm still setting appointments every day, working with people on their business. So if you have questions, hit me up.
Thanks for being an advocate, man, and thanks for pushing us through this. Have a good day, bro. Stay healthy.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, brother. Bye. All right, guys, so you heard it. Mr. Jack Hawthorne, of course, grateful for his leadership at Keller Williams Heritage, and I know he's got a lot on his plate. If you guys have any questions in regards to what the market is doing, feel free to reach out to me. You heard it from Mr. Hawthorne. Real estate agents, although given the flexibility to now be essential, it's still important that you practice good practices, social distancing, virtual open houses, and things like that. So we're still seeing a market change, but not as bad as it was a couple of days ago when we thought y'all were non-essential. Thanks for tuning into the Chris Cano podcast. You guys have a great rest of your Thursday afternoon. God bless you.